Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Crackin' Packs video. I am your host, MrBevers. That's right, we're back again with another pre-release kit of Core Set 2020. That's right. I didn't get to play in this event, unfortunately, because I was too busy with some other things going on. Mainly my birthday was that weekend, and it was kind of, a hectic weekend for me with family and other things to do around the house and all that kind of jazz. So unfortunately for me, I didn't get to play. But it was kind of disappointing from what I hear. And by that I mean, like, my LGS basically was like, their turnout was like absolutely abysmal. Now whether that has to do with the fact that the set, people just aren't hyped about the set, or whether it has to do with burnout, or whether it has to do with the fact that Core 2020 was available on MTG Arena, like, a ways back. That card here that I just put to the side was the card that has my my code on it. There's our promo card. We'll put that off to the side. So, I mean, it could have been any number of those things that caused that to happen. Who knows? Divider looks really nice, as always. I'm not a big fan of the sideways thing. I know that it should still fit in a deck box this way and stand taller than a card, because I mean, as you can see, like, it is still quite a bit taller than like a pack. Like, for instance, like, let's put this token here. You can see they're bottom to bottom, and you can see it's still quite a bit taller. So I mean, like, you could put it in the deck box this way, and it should still fit with this, even with this on the side, and it will still be taller than your card, so you can still use it as a divider in that sense. It's just not, I would prefer it if it was the size of a card this way with a little bit of tab along the top, but that's just me. That's just me. Let's get into the meat and potatoes here. How was your pre-release? I want to know, what was the turnout like? Did you guys have a lot more folks or not? Also, at this point, I guess, maybe you've played in a Friday Night Magic. How do you like the new prizing system? There's some very interesting changes going on, I guess, right? We're gonna put them into piles. I forgot, like, what we were doing. I was too busy rambling. Got a nice murder and a nice pacifism. We got the bestest boy. Little tiny pupper. Hand cover. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +0/+2 and has draw a card, then discard a card. Interesting. Interesting. Apostle of Purifying Light. Ah, the good old Thrashing Brontodon. It's a nice one. And our rare is a Mystic Forge. This card's not very good in Limited, in my opinion. Unless you end up with, like, a whole bunch of artifacts to play. Now, of course, we got a sweet zombie token, which we're just going to put off to the side here. We got a nice Dismal Blackwater for some fixing. The fixing in this is interesting. I didn't realize, like, when I was opening up the case for my LGS, I didn't realize that the Terramorphic Expanse is in the land slot. I thought it was like a card that you could get in the regular commons, but no, it's in the land slot, which is interesting, but at the same time means that you'll see far less of them than you might think. Shock, Moat Piranhas, our first artifact that's not a rare, I guess. Oh, there's another one. Rabid Bite. Ah, the Risen Reef, the card that everyone's hating on in Standard right now. This card is pretty crazy. Repeating Coiling Oracle, I guess is what they call it. Spectral Sailor, very, very good. In Limited. Herald of the Sun. This card's fine. It's a 4/4 flyer for 6, so I mean, like, it's a little expensive, but hey, what can you do? We got Cathis, the Hidden Hand. So, legendary spells you cast cost 1 less. Exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard until end of turn. Each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may play a card from your graveyard. You may play this card from your graveyard. So, I mean, like, this card's cool. In Limited, it's not so great. Because, how many legendary things do you see us in our board right now? The answer is 1, and it's Cathis. So if Cathis isn't in play, he can't make himself cheaper. Not that he could anyway, since he only costs a green, black, white, Abzan. But also, you can't play him from the graveyard because you have to exile 2 other legendary permanents, which right now there aren't any. So, is it legendary creatures too? Exile 2 legendary cards. Yeah, so it's just permanents, essentially. Or, like, I guess it's cards, because you could technically have legendary spells that you could exile from your graveyard as well. Manifold Key, Ancestral Blade. I'm going to put that in the white pile, even though it's an artifact. Veil of Summer. This card is hilarious. It doesn't do what you think it does. It only works on black and blue. Yep. So if your opponent's playing black and blue, sure, it's great. But if your opponent's playing red or white, forget it. Knight of the Ebon Legion. It's a nice little black card. 1/1, 1/2. Pay 3, and it gets +3/+3 until and gains Death Touch until end of turn. At the beginning of your end step, if a player lost 4 or more life, you put a 1/1 counter, so it gets bigger. I think this is my favorite of the ones that are out there. The 1-drops. At least so far, anyway. So we'll put that there. We got a Windscarred Crag, which is nice. Oh, we got a foil rare, Shared Summons. All right. That's interesting. So, for those of you who don't know or didn't watch, I do my patron grab bag thing once a month. And this month, one of my patrons, MTG Unpacked, actually, if you know MTG Unpacked's channel, he got a pack of Core 2020. And I cracked a pre-release kit to get the packs to give people packs for if they drew out of my pile of cards, if they won a pack or whatever. Then I cracked them out of a pre-release kit because it's all I had available at the time. So I was like, yeah, I'll just do that. That's fine. And I cracked a pre-release kit and gave him a pack, and he got a foil Shared Summons. So that's 2 pre-release kits that have both had foiled Shared Summons in them. It's kind of interesting. So anyway, extra rare. Can't complain about that. And Shared Summons is a great card in Limited as well, because it basically just goes and lets you get your bombs out of your deck. Because it's 5 mana, get 2 creatures, put them into your hand. I think our green is looking kind of weak, though, at the moment. Yeah, the green's looking pretty weak. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing. I think white and black are looking pretty decent. Uncaged Fury's a nice little one. Ooh, Agent of Treachery. This card's a bomb and Limited as well. Mainly because it's a 2/3 for 7, but you get to take one of their permanents, and you just get it. It's just yours. It's great in a deck where you take stuff, because if you do, you get to draw cards at the end, which is nice. Zombie Token. Okay. You can see our blue's a little lackluster as well. Blue has some good cards in it, just not enough cards, really. Vial of Dragonfire. We'll have to go back through and take a look, because whenever a creature enters battlefield under your control, scry 1. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, draw a card. Interesting. Blood-Soaked Altar. Pay 2 life, discard a card, sacrifice a creature, create 5/5 Black Demon. This card works really good with the Ogre Bodyguard or whatever he is, because it's like every turn that you lose life, he gets bigger. So this allows you to pay 2 life at instant speed. So if your opponent didn't attack you on his turn, you could tap this at the end of his turn, pay 2 life, and your Ogre gets bigger because you did lose life, right? That turn. It's pretty interesting. Another green rare, Voracious Hydra. So it's green and X for a 0/1 trample Hydra, but it enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. And when it enters the battlefield, you can choose one. Double the number of 1/1 counters on it, or it fights target creature you don't control. So that's pretty cool. We got a foil island. Man, just the foil that you're looking for in a sealed kit. I love foil lands. But it doesn't help you with your build. So, like, we lost a common, right, to get a foil island in our pack. So it feels bad, man, because you get an extra land, which is... And, I mean, if it had been a foil, like, land that... Like, Khan's land that gives you life and gives you 2 colors, then I wouldn't be complaining, because at least it's something that you could then use to fix your mana, right? But... when it's just a basic land here, it's a feels bad moment for sure. Vampire of the Dire Moon, very good. Air Elemental, also very good. Oh my goodness. Our green has picked up here. Night Pack Ambusher. This card is just absolutely bonkers. So it's a 4/4 flash for 4, which is just already really good. Like a 4/4 body for 4 mana. Absurd. But it has flash, so you can play it on your opponent's turn. Amazing. Then it gives other wolves and werewolves you control +1/+1. And at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast a spell on your turn, create a 2/2 wolf. So in other words, create a 3/3 wolf, because it becomes in with +1/+1 because this wolf gives it +1/+1. So at the end of your turn, make a 3/3 wolf, because if this is still around to make a wolf token, your other wolf's getting 3/3, right? Just how it is. Absolutely bonkers. It allows you to basically just set up things where it's like you have instant speed spells and stuff in your hand. Cast them on your opponent's turn. Just hold them up and make 3/3s. It's absolutely bonkers. Another Windscarred Crag, and we got another foil? Ooh, we got a foil Vorse Claw. Alright. Alright, let's look at our promo card and just see. What do we get? Bag of Holding. Alright. Bag of Holding seems like a really good card. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. Pay 2, tap, draw a card, then discard a card. Pay 4, tap and sacrifice Bag of Holding. Return all cards exiled with Bag of Holding to their owner's hand. So, like, it lets you cycle cards and then lets you get them back, which is pretty sweet. So, I mean, like, if we're looking at this, right, we're definitely playing this and probably this and definitely this. And then, like, the Knight of the Ebon Legion is maybe, and then these two cards are not so much. So, like, these two rares I think are unplayable in our current... I mean, like, technically the Mystic Forge is not terrible. It's like you may cast the top card of your library if it's an artifact card, or a colorless non-land card. And, like, I mean, like, we have, like, Vial, which we could play, and Manifold Key, which we could play, and Anvil Root Raptor, which we could play, and Bag of Holding, which we'll probably play. Marauder's Axe is, like, a maybe. It depends on really what the deck is doing. So, I mean, like, you could play it to be able to play these off the top of your library, but, like, I don't think it's particularly worth it, to be honest. Trying not to sneeze into the microphone. My goodness, my nose. All of a sudden, just like, hey, what's up? You're gonna have a sneezing fit here in a moment. Inspired Charge is a nice combat trick. Yoked Ox is, like, not really playable. Inspiring Captain is good. Raise the Alarm is good. Angel of Vitality is good. Steadfast Sentry is fine. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Yeah, that seems fine. 3/2. Ancestral Blade is good. Angelic Gift is good. Herald of the Sun is fine. Aerial Assault is good. Squad Captain, I would probably play a 1 of these if you have enough other little dudes kicking around. Apostle of Purifying Light is fine. It's not amazing. It is a 2/1 for 2. So, I mean, like, there is that. And there's Pacifism and Dawning Angel. So, I mean, like, we have a decent white base, but we don't have any, like, high power things to add into white. Like, we got no rares. We don't have any bombs in, like, the uncommons really in white. We have a couple good ones. Like, Air Elemental, definitely playable. Unsummon, yes. Negate, yes. Anticipate, yes. Frilled Sea Serpent is, like, a maybe. Sleep Paralysis, yes. Unsummon, yes. Spectral Sailor, yes. Moat Piranha, no. Hardcover, this is interesting because it works really well with Bag of Holding. So it's a maybe. It's a maybe. I don't know if I would play it, but it's possible. Zephyr Charge doesn't seem like we need it. So we'd probably end up playing, like, a bunch of our blue, maybe, with the agent. Now, the blue's not super strong by any means. I agree with this. If you guys out there are like, your blue's not great, I'll be like, you're not wrong. But it does have some decent draw mechanics, and it does have some decent, like, early game tricks and flyers, right? So, like, 2 unsummons, right? Very good for against opponents, especially if they have, like, any kind of enchantments, like Sleep Paralysis or Pacifism. We can bounce our own dude and then play it again, right? We got Air Elemental, which is a nice flyer. We've got Spectral Sailor, which is a nice flyer. We've got Metropolis Sprite, which is good. And the Frilled Sea Serpent is not terrible. Now, our blue creatures are pretty low, right? Like, we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 creatures in blue. One of them costs 6, one of them costs 7. So it's not ideal, right? But if our green base is strong enough in creatures, the blue is okay as a support color, right? Duress is fine. Vampire of the Dire Moon is very good. Blood-Soaked Altar is, like, mediocre, I think. You need the right deck for it. Unholy Indenture seems really good. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control with a 1/1 counter on it. Yeah, that seems good. Boneclad Necromancer seems like mediocre. It's a 3/3 for 5 that gives you a 2/2 if you exile something, which is like okay. Audacious Thief is very good. Bone Splinter is also very good. Epicure of Blood is like fine, but if you're not gaining life, it's just a 4/4 for 5, like vanilla 4/4 for 5, which is like it's not terrible, but it's not the best. Sanitarium Skeleton is fine. It works really well with the altar. Duress, I don't think you play more than one, to be honest. Murder, definitely. Undead Servant would be also very good if we had more than one, right? Again, so like our black is like mediocre as well. It's not particularly amazing. Okay, what's our red look like? Fry doesn't seem great. It's only situational white or blue creatures. Reduced Ash is very good. Act of Treason, fine. If you have a sack outlet, is very good. Like Act of Treason with the altar from the black would be amazing because you take their creature, swing them with it, and then sack it and make a 5/5 demon for yourself. Unchained Berserker seems fine. Protection from white, and it gets +2/+0 and as long as it's attacking. So it's a 2 mana 3/1 when it attacks, which seems pretty good. Pack Mastiff is fine. Each creature you control named Pack Mastiff gets +1. Seems okay. Uncaged Fury, very good. Chandra's Outrage, good. Maniacal Rage is like mediocre. Goblin Smuggler, I really like this card in Limited, mainly because it's a 2/2 for 3 with haste, but you can tap it to make another creature unblockable. So if you have something that like has a trigger when it attacks to get bigger, or you have something that for instance, you can make the Unchained Berserker unblockable and then swing with it, and they take 3 damage, not 1, because he does get pumped, and he's still unblockable because you triggered this before he became a 3/1. So, like, things like that work really well. Shock, very good. The Lavakin Brawler is, like, fine. It's a 2/4 for 4, which is not, like, amazing, but it's also okay if you have the elementals to give it a bonus. Destructive Digger is, like, okay. It's not great. Keldon Raider is good. We have another Act of Treason, so like our red is like okay. It has some decent removal. It has a Shock, a Chandra's Outrage, and a Reduced Ashes, so we do have some decent removal in red if we need it. Let's see what our green looks like. We're playing a Vorse Claw for sure. It's just a 7/7 for 6. I mean, why wouldn't you play it? Greenwood Sentinel is good for early game. Rabid Bite, yes. Season of Growth is okay, I guess. It lets us scry, which lets us change things up. So, like, I mean, if we're playing a lot of creatures, we've got that, I guess. I don't know if we're going to be playing a lot of spells that target our guys, which means we're not going to really be drawing cards. Plummet, this card seems main deckable in Sealed, just because so many people are playing, like, blue-white flyers and things like that, that I would probably play at main deck. Mammoth Spider, yes. Overcome, very good. Another Greenwood Sentinel, yes. I don't know if we take a second Vorse Claw. Maybe we do. I think it's like a... We'll put that there. Veil of Summer is like not amazing. Netcast Spider for sure. Sedge Scorpion, yes. Healer of the Glade, yes. Rabid Bite, sure. Natural and not so much. Thrashing Brontodon, yes. Ferocious Pup, yes. So I mean, like, our green is like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 creatures in green. So we can definitely support like a green-blue build. Right, and also don't forget we have Voracious Hydra, Ambusher, and Shared Summons. So like we can definitely support like a green-blue build if we want. How many elementals do we have? 1, 2, 3 possibly in there, and then in blue we have 4, and by that I mean 1 in blue. 3 in green, 4, 5. So we have 5 elementals in total. So like the Risen Reef, maybe not particularly amazing for this deck. Mainly because like it is good. Like it's Coiled Oracle when it comes into play, which is nice. But it's only a 1/1 for 3. And since we only have 4 other elementals, it's not going to trigger that often. So maybe it's not... It's an iffy one. If we had more elementals, I would be more inclined to play it. If we're playing green-blue, we could play the Dismal Blackwater and look to splash some black if we wanted to, I guess. But, like, I don't think our black... Like, the Knight of the Ebon Legion is very good, but I don't think the rest of our black really lends itself to being splashed very well. Like, we have a lot of double black or like, single black drop, right? Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 6 1-drops in black. So if you're not running black as a main color, forget it, right? The Unholy Indenture is very good for things like our Enter the Battlefield effects. So for instance, like the Night Pack Ambusher, or like you could put it on that so that if it dies, it comes back. You can put it on the Voracious Pup, so that when it dies, it comes back and you get another wolf. You can put it on the Thrashing Bronzodon so that you can then sack it and blow up a something, and then it comes back with a 1/1 counter on it. Like, lots of options, which is good. So there is that. I think the Bag of Holding for sure. I'm pretty sure that I would go with like a blue-green kind of build here, like blue for a little bit of control and like extra spells. Like maybe the blue doesn't have enough, right? Like, because right now we have what? Only 1 negate, 2 unsummons, and a sleep paralysis, right? Yeah. So like that's our only control in blue. So like we don't really have a lot of control in blue, but we do have 2 Rabid Bites and a Plummet, right, in green. So I mean, like, our green's not terrible for removal either, right? If we added black or red, we would only be adding like 1 or 2 more removal spells, right? Because black, we only had 1 murder and 1 bone splinter. So we get 2 removal spells from black, and then red only had 3 removal spells. So really, if we add blue, we get 1 removal spell, which is sleep paralysis, which is not really a removal per se, but it's like a pseudo removal. And then we have 2 unsummons, which is more like a trick. It just bounces it, as opposed to, but it can also protect our creatures, which is good with like our Night Pack Ambusher is great to unsummon if they try to kill it, because we can bounce it and then play it again because it has flash. So like there is that, right? And then the Agent of Treachery is just, I think, too big of a bomb not to play it, because you get to take whatever their best creature is on turn 7, right? So definitely good. So that's what I would end up playing. You guys let me know what you think. I know that blue-white flyers is definitely a thing, and like we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 flyers in white, and then I think we have like 4 or 5 flyers in blue, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So we have 7 flyers in total, 4 in white, 3 in blue. So like the blue-white flyer deck not really looking like a thing for us. We do have the Anvil Rot Raptor, so I mean, like, there is another flyer if you want to go that route. I don't think we do. I think the Manifold Key is not terrible as well, just because it's a nice little, even though its ability is like pay 1, untap another artifact, you don't really necessarily care about that, but we could untap the Bag of Holding to draw again, or to like sack it and get things. So there is that. And the Manifold Key probably finds its way into the deck somewhere if we can. But yeah. Shared summons for sure, because we've got Hydra and Night Pack Ambusher to go get, as well as Vorse Claws if we need just the big bodies on the ground. Or we could even go get the Agent of Treachery if we have the 7 mana to play it, and they have a big thing that we need to take, right? So, lots of good options. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I've been your host, MrBevers. I hope you enjoyed this little opening and build of a Core 2020 pre-release kit. Have a great day. And as always, may your pulls ever be better.